Thank you.
During each week that you claim benefits, you must be both physically and mentally able to work, available for full-time work during the customary hours and days for your type of work that you do, and actively seeking work during each week that you claim benefits. And Gabby, we can go to the next screen. Your weekly benefit amount is calculated based on those base year wages that are reported, and it's 1.25% of those earnings. We do have a minimum weekly benefit amount of $190 per week and a maximum benefit amount of $812 per week. And when we review that period, we look at the first 4 completed quarters of a 5-quarter period of time. So anything that you've earned recently or in this prior quarter that's completed is not part of your earnings that determine your weekly benefit amount. You'll also receive from us a potential wage and benefit report after you file your claim for unemployment, and that's going to tell you the wages that we used to calculate your weekly benefit amount and your maximum benefit amount. If you review that and you see that there's some missing wages, you want to make sure that you contact the employment department as soon as possible so that we can look to see what wages might be missing and if there's an impact for you. There's also a link on our page that allows you to go in and look at an estimation of what your weekly benefit amount could be. And we can go to the next page. So we do have a new Francis system. So if you have filed unemployment with us in the past, we converted to a new system in the last week in February called Francis. And to go to file a claim, there's multiple steps now. And the first thing that you have to do is register for Francis online. And you do that by going to unemployment.oregon.gov. And once you're there, you're going to actually create an online Francis account. Once that Francis account is created, you're going to get notification in the mail to do an ID verification. And that ID verification is going to come to you only by letter. We can't do it over the phone. It's the first step in many for ID verification through our new process. And that letter is going to come to you and allow you to complete your online registration. Once that's completed, you can file your initial claim. We can go to the next screen. And so once you've created that account, you can go to this screen in our system, and you're going to go to file a claim for unemployment. And you can see here our unemployment insurance home under the unemployment insurance panel, and that will allow you to start to file a new claim for unemployment benefits. If you have filed for unemployment with us in the last period of time where you might have been off, you would be filing a restart of your claim instead of a brand new claim because you've already established a claim that still may have benefits on it. So if you have filed a claim in the last 20 weeks, last year maybe, you may need to restart your claim instead of filing a new claim for benefits. Next screen. So after you've registered for your Francis online account, here's where you're going to want to go to claim a week of benefits and see your claim record online. You're going to see this information here when you go into the new system. Next screen for me. And there's 2 ways to file a claim for benefits: the online system through Francis, as well as over the phone. My suggestion for you would be, if you have the ability to file online through our Francis system, that would be your best option. Our phone system is pretty full right now with our hold times being a bit higher. So if you're able to do that online, that's your best option for you. If you need assistance or if you don't have a computer that you can use, you could go to your local WorkSource office and use their computers to help you file. And that would be available for you to get that claim filed. Now, once you have filed your claim for unemployment benefits, every week that you're not working, you're going to want to file a weekly claim. This is the only way that the department knows that you're meeting the eligibility requirements for the week, where you're answering that you're able, available, and actively seeking work, and that you're not working during the week and requesting benefits. And when you do claim benefits for the week, you do have to provide your work seeking activities at that time. The requirement for work seeking activities is 2 direct employer contacts where you've applied for a job, you've sent a resume out, or you have had a communication in person with an employer, and 3 other work seeking activities, which can include updating your resume, browsing job listings on a website. It can be going to your WorkSource office and working with a representative there, getting a referral, or doing interview practice, writing resume classes, or it can be networking with a group of individuals in similar positions where you might get placed with an employer or get an employer contact. Next screen, please. So when you go to log on to Francis, this is what the link is going to look like for you so that you can go here. You can also contact us at our phone number of 877-345-3484. But again, the best way to communicate with us is through your Francis online account. You can send a web notice to us. You can contact us through the system itself, and they can assist with needs that you have or questions that you might have. Next screen. So when you're in Francis and you're on your own account, this is where you would send a message to the employment department asking for assistance or for questions, and where you can view messages from us as well. When you're in the system and there's an action that the employment department would like you to take, whether that's answering a question for us or it's completing a questionnaire on your claim, you're going to see a number up at the action center that's going to indicate that there's a request for you to complete information for us. So next to the home tab where it says action center, if there's something there that you need to do for us, we would have that information there. Next panel for me. When you're ready to file a week of benefits, you're going to see this option that's going to tell you what week is available for you to claim. It's going to tell you that it's ready for you to file, and you would use the file now. And that's going to bring up all of the questions for you to answer in the week and report your work seeking activities for the week. Next question, next screen for me. You also have the option to complete direct deposit or receive your benefits through a ReliaCard Visa. If you do want to have direct deposit, you can set up your direct deposit at the time that you file your initial claim. If you don't do direct deposit, a ReliaCard Visa is going to be sent to you in the mail, and you're going to have future benefits paid to that ReliaCard Visa. And it's similar to a debit card, comes in a plain white envelope with no indication at all that it's from the employment department. So it's really important to watch for that because it does look like junk mail, like a credit card offer. But inside, it'll have a debit card from US Bank. Next screen for me. And if you do choose to sign up for direct deposit, you have that option under your Francis account under more, and it's going to give you the option to sign up for your direct deposit right online. Next screen for me. And this is what that'll look like. It'll ask for your routing information, your account number, the banking type that you have, and the name on the account. Now, it's really important to remember that as we have gone through our Francis conversion, there are multiple ID verification steps through our process now. One of those includes changing how you receive a payment. So if at a later date you choose to receive a direct deposit instead of your Rely Card Visa payment, you're going to be requested to do your ID verification again through a written letter. So just know any substantial change to your claim is going to require that you take the steps to do the ID verification with a letter again. And that's to protect your identity and to keep your claim from being hijacked and benefits being paid to someone that's not the owner of the claim. Next screen for me. Now, unemployment insurance is taxable income. And when you file your claim, you do have options on whether you want to have benefits, your benefits have taxes withheld. You have the option of doing federal at 10%, state at 6%, or both federal and state. And at the end of the year, you will receive a 1099 statement that you would use for your tax filing purposes. Next slide for me. And there are requirements that you do have to do as part of eligibility for unemployment insurance. One of those requirements is completing your iMatch skills, which is registering a profile with your WorkSource office. It's putting in information so that you can do job matches and have your employment history available, upload a resume, and the matches can be sent to you or you can run them yourself for jobs that you are a match for. You also will need to do a WorkSource registration welcome process where you're meeting with a representative from WorkSource and they'll go over what they have available for you and will assist you with in office. I believe you can still do those remotely as well, but you are required to do those 2 steps. And the third step is to do another ID verification considered to be an in-person ID verification with your local WorkSource representative. And you'll receive a letter from us in the mail or through your Francis account that's going to give you the deadline of when these 3 requirements need to be done by. And you have to have your requirements done by the date on your letter, or you could potentially be denied until that process is completed. So it's really important to watch for that letter and to meet that deadline at your WorkSource office to do iMatch, your welcome process, and your in-person ID verification. Next slide for me. This is a list of documents that are acceptable documentation for your ID verification in person, and you're going to receive this with the letter. And basically, you have to have 2 primary pieces of ID, which are listed under primary, or 1 primary piece of ID and 2 secondary pieces of ID. You need to present those when you do meet with the representative from the employment department, again, to do your ID, another step of ID verification. Next slide for me. So a little bit more detail about the eligibility requirements during each week that you claim benefits. The first one being that you're physically and mentally able to work. And that means that each week that you claim, you have to be physically and mentally capable of performing the type of work that you're seeking. So you have to be not sick or in the hospital or have an injury. You have to be physically able to accept and report to work. You must be available for work, which means you must be willing to work both full-time and part-time, both accept temporary or permanent work, and be available for work during the customary hours and days for the type of work that you're seeking. And you need to be willing to accept and report for all suitable work opportunities within your labor market. And one of the things that they do with your work source meeting is they go over what that labor market looks like and the type of work that you need to be seeking and be available to accept. And again, you do need to be seeking work during each week that you claim benefits. And that's 2 direct employer contacts during each week that you claim, and 3 other work seeking activities during each week that you're claiming benefits, for a total of 5. Next slide for me. Every claim that is filed, you are required to serve a waiting week. And a waiting week is the first eligible week that you claim benefits. And no payment is issued for that waiting week, but you have to claim that week to get your waiting week credit. You don't want to wait. You want to make sure that you claim that week. And if it would have been an otherwise eligible week, that's going to serve as your waiting week. The other thing that you want to make sure is that if you are away from your labor market, meaning that you've traveled and you're away for more than half of the week, you may not be eligible to receive unemployment benefits. And this week has to be reviewed by an adjudicator such as myself. And we have to determine the reason that you were out of your labor market, whether you sought work in the area that you traveled to, and whether you would have been willing to accept work within that area that you traveled to and move. And so if you do travel outside of the labor market, you want to make sure that you do answer that question on the weekly claim and provide information on the questions that will come to you with regards to where you traveled and the purpose of your trip. Next slide for me. You also want to know that availability for the employment department means that you, if you don't have childcare or a lack of transportation, or you're sick for more than half the week, if you're attending school or classes, if you're starting your own business, or there's only specific days and shifts that you can work, it can potentially impact your eligibility for unemployment benefits. Again, unemployment is an eligibility-based program, and this is one of the requirements that we do have during each week that you claim. So if this information um, is reported, we do have to review it and determine whether you do meet the eligibility requirements for being available during a week that you might not have childcare or you're taking classes. Next slide for me. So it's really important to know that when an unemployment insurance claim is filed, it has a life of 52 weeks. And within that 52 weeks, the maximum weekly benefit amount is 26 weeks worth of benefits. So although the life of the claim is 52 weeks, there's only 26 weeks worth of benefits available to you. And if you are working a part-time or a temporary job and you're making under your weekly benefit amount, you could potentially still be eligible to receive a partial payment of unemployment. You do have to report the hours and earnings that you receive and perform during each week that you're claiming. There is no need to close your claim. If you start working again, you would just stop claiming benefits and the system recognizes then that you're not requesting benefits any longer. If you forget or you miss a week of claiming, you would be required to restart your claim. And again, you would do that through our Francis system to reopen or restart your claim, and it would walk you through the steps to do that. Next slide for me. So this is information because you are an employee of a school educator employer. We have to review information during any break period. And a break period is considered a time when students aren't in class. So for Mount Hood Community College during this particular time, We look at the first summer recess period, which is the break between spring term and summer term. And that is going to be June 16th through June 22nd. And that's the week that could potentially be impacted during the break period. Now, there's been a recent change to the requirements for school employees and what the agency looks at and reviews with regards to your eligibility. Currently, we only could potentially disqualify instructors, researchers, and principal administrators, so deans, individuals who administer the actual program. But our system doesn't allow us to distinguish how you earned your income from the school. So if there's wages from an educational employer, we have to review to determine what you do for the school and whether this rule applies to you or not. With the rule change in January 7th of 2024 under Senate Bill 489, if you do not meet one of the criteria for what they consider a professional designation, again, that's a principal, administrator, instructor, or researcher, you no longer would have a disqualification during the recess period. Can we go to the next screen for me? And so what we look at is we look at what you do in your job. And there's an area when you're filling out your claim where we ask for your job description. Any pre-K or Head Start program is now exempt from any reduction or denial during the recess period. When you fill your claim for unemployment insurance and we ask for your job description, if you're pre-K or Head Start, start your job description with pre-K or Head Start. Anything after that's great, but at least we know that that's the program that you're in, so that when we're reviewing your job description, we know whether it actually impacts you or not under the new Senate bill. Now, if you have questions about how the process works for school workers, we do have that information available on our website under Am I Eligible and School Workers. That has a lot of information, but with this new rule change, we do have to look at every claim that's filed where those wages are from an educational employer. But again, if you're Head Start or pre-K, you're not disqualified during the recess period. Next screen for me. So we're going to send you out a questionnaire through our Francis Online system because we can see those wages from your school employer. And it's really important that you provide that information back to us as quickly as you can. We send a notice to you and to your employer asking for the same information. Now, if you've had a permanent layoff or reduction in force, it's really important that you also provide your reduction in force letter so that we have that to see that you don't have any additional work to do after what would be the break period or when you would be returning. Again, if you are pre-K or Head Start, it's really important to provide that description in your job history so that we know that you're exempt from the new review. Next slide for me. That's it for me. That's the next program. So does anybody, I know that's so much information. Does anybody have any questions about what we need to do during the review?
I saw a hand go up. If you want to unmute and ask your question.
Yes, I have a question. So I know in the past, like if you're only going to be off for like I think it's 2 weeks, that you didn't have to be actively looking for employment. Is that still true?
If you have a return to work date within 4 weeks of your last day working, you do not have to look for work.
And Kelly, would they check the temporary laid off box?
We don't have that box any longer
Okay.
on a weekly certification. However, when you file a claim and the system's supposed to be smarter than us now. That's questionable. But when you put in the date that you're returning to work, the system is supposed to recognize that that's a 4-week period. And so then it doesn't even ask for your work searches when you claim.
Kelly, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I believe all these folks, or at least the majority, are union workers. Is there a question about being in a closed shop versus an open shop in the new system?
The new system asks for information about being in a closed union, and you
Okay.
have to fill out almost an affidavit certifying. It's an attestation certifying that you're in a closed union and not required to seek work outside of your union.
And that would not be this group of
That would not
workers.
be this group of individuals.
So make sure everyone, you do not select that you are in a closed union, because that is not the circumstance for this group.
And I can just elaborate a little bit. What that means is you can only get work through your union. And so that would be like a pipe fitter or someone where the union places you into jobs. And if you don't work in that type of union environment, you don't mark that. That doesn't apply.
So for you all, you are employed with one work site by one employer, and you do not get dispatched by your union hall daily to different work sites. That's probably the easiest way I could describe that. But I just want to make sure people know not to select that, because it will potentially mess up your claim. It will potentially pause your benefits while there's a review. So just wanted to flag that. Thank you, Kelly.
Mm-hmm. And if your return to work date is outside of that 4-week period, you are required to seek and accept work if you're claiming. If you mark or indicate that you are and you don't return to work in the date that you tell us, you could potentially have an overpayment, and I'd hate to have that created for anyone. So it's just so important to recognize that date has to be within 4 weeks, and then you would have to certify that that information that you're providing is true and accurate.
Ellie, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Would you like to ask your question?
I'm a little confused with just how does it work if you're getting like a 12-month pay, but it's reduced?
So the employment department looks at that a little bit differently in that you're not performing work during this period of time to receive that pay. You're receiving that pay for work that you've already done. So you don't have to report that to the employment department. You just chose to have, instead of larger monthly payments, you've chose to have your pay for work that you've already done spread out over a longer period of time, but you're not actually performing work during the weeks that you claimed while you're receiving that payment. So you don't have to report that to the employment department.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That was a great question.
That's a really good question.
Samantha, would you like to unmute and ask your question?
Hi, my name's Samantha. Thank you for this training. It's been very informative. I have a quick question in regards to when we should be registering for the unemployment benefits. For example, in my situation, I am an administrative assistant for the enrollment department, so our summer break is a little different from the other staff. So we are off the last week of June and the first week of July. So my question is, when can I register for the unemployment? Do I have to wait and be unemployed for that last week of June before I submit my request? Or how does that process work? Can I do it in advance or do I have to wait?
So because we have a multiple step process now, what I would suggest is that you start your Francis online account now so that you can receive your ID verification letter and get that process completed. Then when you file an initial claim, you're going to file in the first week that you're not working. And because when you file a claim, it's effective in the week that you file. So if you're off the last week in June, you want to start your initial claim during that last week in June, and then you're going to claim that week after the week's over. But I would start the process now with your Francis online account so you can get through that ID verification process and not miss that time frame to file that first week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's a good reminder to check your mail often when you have a claim going, because there will be deadlines. And you don't want to miss a deadline if possible. So it's good to check your mail every day while you have a claim going.
And although so much communication now is coming through Francis in that action center, there are still certain letters that require your action that are come to you by mail.
Samantha,
Kelly,
do you have another
sorry.
question? Samantha's hand is still up. Do you have another question?
Oh, no, I forgot to lower my hand. Sorry. Thank you.
Kelly, I just have one more question.
You
So,
bet.
it's kind of off of what Amanda was asking. So for the claiming like these 2 weeks, so say again over winter break, those same people are off. They don't have to start that waiting week again, right? Because is it still valid for a
No.
year?
Yeah, once a
right?
waiting week
Okay.
is served, you're only
Mhm.
required to serve one waiting week on your claim. So if you were off
Per
over
year,
winter
okay.
break, you're just gonna, and you claimed, you're just gonna restart your claim and then claim that week. And you should be back on track for for a payment during that first week.
Okay, so like if the majority of them started now, right in June, then their turnaround time would be next June again, where they'd have to do another
Yes.
waiting week.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mhm. And so again, I know this sounds like I'm just trying to enforce the most important thing that you can do for us, because we do only have 8 individuals currently that do school employee reviews out of all of the state. The most important thing that you can do for us is that job description. If you put those details of what you're if you're doing office administration, if you're doing kitchen work, if you're doing landscaping, put that information and those details in that job history, because that's what we're going from and your questionnaire to determine whether the rule now applies to you.
Awesome. Are there any other questions for Kelly right now?
I have a question about address change. That I moved to a new address and then I tried to start registering for Francis, and it's not letting me do it because I didn't receive the letter ID. And I tried to change the address and sent message a week ago, and I haven't received any letters yet. And I should apply tomorrow for the unemployment insurance. So what should I do?
So Mona, when you sent the request to the employment department, did you use the contact us option?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They are responding to those as quick as they can. I would send another one. I would send another contact us request to change your address. That is one of the things that we have seen with Francis is it doesn't give you an opportunity to update your address. And so the verification letters are going out to an old address. So you do have to speak to a representative or do your verification to update your address through the system for the new letter to go out. So just send another message to that contact us and tell them urgent that you need to get your address updated so that you can complete the process.
Okay, thank you.
And is it possible, Gabby, can we go back a few slides so I can show everybody where that contact us option is? Couple more, I think. I think it's towards the front. I think it's one more. So here, when you first go into Francis, when you go to unemployment.oregon.gov, on the right-hand corner where you see Contact Us, that yellow tab, if you click on that, that is a hyperlink that allows you to send a message to the employment department without completing your Francis account. And those are being worked and reviewed and communication back to you about what you need. So it's, if you need to contact the employment department, instead of having to wait on hold or trying to contact us by phone, use that yellow button for Contact Us, and you can send a request for assistance to that.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
If any other questions pop up, Kelly's going to stay on so we can address them at the end of the presentation. Let's go ahead and queue up Frederique from WorkSource. And Frederique, I will just remind you, this is being translated.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Frederique, and I work for WorkSource. I am located at WorkSource North-Northeast. That's 30 North Webster Street in North Portland. And I work for IRCO, which is a big organization, stands for Immigrant and Refugee Community Organization. The Arabic translator, by the way, on the line is also working for IRCO. Hello, IRCO. We are not only serving refugees and immigrants, but the larger community. And we have an IRCO team located at WorkSource North-Northeast. Can you go to the next slide? We do have WorkSource locations in Gresham as well, and Southeast on Foster, also in Beaverton, Hillsborough, and Tigard. And yes, if you apply for unemployment benefits, as it was shared, you do need to complete an IMATCH skills profile. But if you are going into WorkSource and you are seeking career services of all kinds, then you might not need to start with an IMATCH skills profile. You're not filing for unemployment benefits. It's always a good thing to have, but if you walk in, and walk-ins are welcome, then, and you are requesting, you think it is a good time for a training or up your skills or advance your skills in a certain field, and you want to use this time to do that, and you walk into WorkSource, you can ask directly for a training team. Again, there will be a training team in every location: Gresham, North-Northeast, Southeast, Beaverton, Tigard. You can ask for the training team, sometimes called skills team, same thing, and you will get referred over. And one of the career specialists will be talking to you about a possible class that you want to take or a training. That could be, if you could go to the next slide, please. So the training and or skills teams at the WorkSource centers are there for I want to say the core activity is reviewing, providing scholarships for short-term occupational training. That's the core of what we do. So you will be referred over to one of the career specialists, and they'll walk you through the application process. Maybe you want to do some career exploration as well, we have workshops, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So if you're interested in a training and you talk to one of us, it could be that you are interested in a few days or a month-long training up to a year-long training, or 2 years up to associate. We will be looking at our target industries. One is healthcare. One is education, but I'm going to say the preschool for all, early education. So healthcare, early education, IT, construction, manufacturing, and the big umbrella of clean energy. So these are the target industries. And if you're interested in a scholarship, we will be looking if the training falls into one of the target industries. So there is a long Oregon statewide list of trainings accessible for everyone to just look it up online. Please do so. A long list of trainings, and all of these training providers are eligible for WorkSource scholarships. WorkSource also does a lot of workshops. We have career workshops of all kinds. We do career exploration. We do resume workshops. We offer interview workshops. We offer community resources workshops. Job search workshop. Find your career fit. I could go on and on. It'll be worth your time to sign up for. If you could go one slide to the next slide, please. It will be, yes, because they are listed here. I don't even have to invent the wheel. So resume writing, job search strategies, interviewing, soft skills, networking, I forgot. Starting a career in trades, I forgot as well. And also on the right side, there are the target industries that I mentioned. Not mentioned on this here is that the new target sector is the early education. If you could please go one slide back. Sorry, back. Thank you. Because we also do career counseling one-on-one. I'm going to leave out the job leads and job placement assistants. We do that too, but we have a team of experts on the call that will talk about that later. And I just also want to mention that we have a free training cohort. At the moment, we have entry into banks, how to enter the bank sector. We have free cohorts entering the medical field. All of those training cohorts are a couple of months long, free, and pretty intense, but you have all you need if you want to enter the medical field or the bank field. And there's more, but I'm going to leave it at that. If you could please go 2 slides forward. Thank you. It just shows a little bit outdated WorkSource Portland Metro website. It is under review, and we will come up with a new website very, very soon. You can see on the right side, it says training and education. You will find a long list of eligible training providers on there. You also see in the red circle, you see the button where you can access the My WorkSource account. So it's a little bit different from iMatch Skills. As we learned, iMatch Skills account is more like entering all your work history and making sure you enter all the skills so that you get matched with the openings. But the My WorkSource account is a little bit different. It's really cool. It's not mandatory, but it's really, really good to have. If you could go one slide forward. There it is. You will land at My WorkSource, and you can have you have access to a large online training platform, all free. Goes into all different kinds of career pathways. You also have access to search and register for the workshops that I just talked about. You also have access in the right upper corner. You see the Find Jobs to the largest Oregon State platform, job search platform that combines a Monster and Indeed and LinkedIn and what did I forget? So it's really a large job search platform, and you can access this platform in the right upper corner through your My WorkSource account. I'll leave it at that for now. One more slide. I think I have. No, I don't. Are there any questions?
And just so everyone knows, you can walk into WorkSource. You don't, any WorkSource office, right, Frederica? You don't need an appointment.
That is very true. Thanks, Teal. We do see peak hours right after lunch, I heard, between 11 and 2 or so. It's kind of busy. It is less busy in the early morning and in the late afternoon, usually. But please come in anytime it suits you. We'll get a career specialist to talk to you. It might take a little while, but you will have a career specialist talking to you when you walk in. Online, you can make virtual appointments, but you cannot make in-person appointments.
Thank you, Frederica. Appreciate that. And there's definitely a WorkSource near wherever you live. So that they have so many resources if you need to use a computer, a printer, if you need help, like Frederica was talking about, they want you to come in. They are there to serve you. So definitely take advantage. And then also you'll need to go in anyway as part of qualifying for unemployment insurance. So thank you for that presentation. And now, Chris, are you going to be doing this part, or will Nelson be, or will both of you be?
Yeah, so I will start this part and then I'll turn things over to Nelson for a couple minutes. Yeah. So one of the services that Frederica mentioned about going into a WorkSource center is additional support around job placement in particular too. In addition to our career-facing services team that works directly with job seekers one-on-one, we have a business services team. From the business services team today on the call are myself and then my colleague Nelson Gomes here. The role of our job is primarily employer-facing. What we do is we serve businesses in the community as part of a tax prepaid public service. That means that these employers, in the taxes they pay, a portion of that funds this program that assists them in finding talent through the workforce system, through WorkSource. One way we do that is through iMatch Skills, which, as Frederica mentioned, is one of Oregon's largest job seeker databases. I think it is the largest job seeker, job listing, and employer database. And the work we do with that is finding qualified applicants by running matches. So if and when you do go into a WorkSource to fill out your claim, one element of that will be registering an iMatch Skills profile, filling that out with all of your preferences and criteria for the kind of work you're seeking. And I realize in this case, we're talking about a temporary layoff. But I did want to in particular mention that this is a helpful tool for looking for work. And so sort of where we come in is if you are considering at any point kind of new career avenues or building off of some of like the skills that you've gained in a current role, our regional business services team can potentially assist you in placement to one of our qualified roles. Yeah, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Nelson briefly. But thank you guys for having us on the call, and yeah.
Thank you, Chris, and hello, everyone. If you guys check the chat right now, you will find two documents that I'm sharing with you all. One is an event that's happening next week at Mount Hood Community College, and we will be represented there. I will be there personally. And that's one of the things that we also do on our business service team. We organize events, we participate in events, table them, bring resources, talk directly with job seekers and with employers. And our goal is to connect both of them. We focus on retention, so we are the opposite of a temp agency. We want to find people careers where they will meet their potential and grow. And now you can see on the screen both Chris and my contact information, so feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. And also on the chat, you'll find a 2-page WorkSource Oregon resource page that we distribute widely when we go to job fairs and resource fairs and such. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please let us know either now or anytime later. Thank you.
Thank you both so much. It's such a great resource to have such a avenue for help looking, if you are thinking about looking for another line of work or a whole new career. These are the people who can help get you in front of employers who are actively looking and to hire. So it's a great advantage. It doesn't cost anything for you to use their help. So thank you guys for coming on and speaking. This is the time where I just want to mention 211. 211 is a resource that collects community resources. So you can call, you can download their app, you can go on their website. But what's great about 211 is they pull together all sorts of free and very low cost community resources. And so if at any point in life you need some kind of support, they're going to have the best up-to-date information about how to access free support for whatever you might be needing, whether it's help with childcare services or tax filing or food support, just to list a few. 211 is an absolutely cost-free resource available to you at any time. So available to anyone at any time. So we definitely always mention that and encourage people to use it at any point they might need that kind of support or connection with community resources. And then at this time, I would just say, if anyone has any questions, now would be a great time to raise your hand or just unmute and ask. Okay, I'm going to thank our translators. I'm going to thank our presenters. I'm going to thank LCSA for running the tech on this. And thank you to Julie for coordinating this for all of the workers. We appreciate your time. We're going to honor your time because we wanted to do this in 75 minutes and we've done it. So I think we'll sign off for today. We will make sure we get this recording to Julie so that it can be distributed. And we appreciate all of you attending today and we wish you well. Have a great summer.
Thank you all. Thank you, Till. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it and getting everything taken care of. So you guys are awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
This was great. Thank you, Julie. We appreciate you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.